we're back. And we managed to cut a swath through half the town and loop back around on them, so we got about maybe an hour before they figure it out.
Bought us some more time.
And now we're back with more slashers, because last time we decided to do that video within 5 minutes of this, and it's like, we didn't really prepare for anything, that's why we didn't talk so much.
Yeah.
But here we go then.
We didn't have time to, think about it.
These movies, honestly, do not make any sense at all.
A lot of them really don't.
The one thing about them is, though, like, even though they're numbered, they're not really connected together. Like, you could watch each one and you wouldn't miss anything. Like, they don't really bring stuff up.
Well, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, every single movie that came out after that was the true sequel. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, which I think had the most continuity, the original. And then Part 3, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 came out, and it kind of ignored Part 2 for the most part, aside from a couple references. And then Next Generation came out, which is a piece of shit. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And that was just following the first movie. Then they remade it, and that had a prequel. And then Texas Chainsaw 3D did the same thing. It only followed the first movie, ignored all the sequels. And then Leatherface, which is a prequel, is the newest one, just followed the first movie as well. But it's kind of connected to 3D as well, even though that movie was plagued with continuity errors and timeline inconsistencies.
But I mean, like the Jason movies, those are each one feels like its own separate thing. Like, they'll mention something that happened, but then again, the first movie mentioned stuff that happened you never saw, so
they do.
You feel like they're their own things.
They do. There's a lot of inconsistencies there too, but I think that one's flows the best out of them all. That's the most coherent. It doesn't there's not things that the Halloween series is another one where we have the continuity of part 1 and 2. Then 4, 5, 6, and then H2O and Resurrection, which ignored 4, 5, and 6. Then Part 3, which is its own thing, and then the Rob Zombie continuity. And then the new one coming out later this year with Jamie Lee Curtis reprising Rose Laurie Strode just follows the first movie and ignores all the
she got
sequels.
murdered.
Yeah, but it ignores that Resurrection. It's ignoring all the sequels except for Part 1. So the Halloween continuity is a mess.
If anything, the thing that ruined Halloween was when they did Season of the Witch. They thought, hey, let's do a different thing for every Halloween. We're okay, that's cool. But they thought, no, let's go back to...
scrapped that idea.
Yeah, then they went back to Michael Myers, and then it just got... I feel like they're just, throwing darts at a wall for ideas. Hey, let's make that new movie.
With a lot of them, yeah, they were. Yeah, it's like the X-Men movies. The continuity is just... It's the convoluted as hell. The continuity is all over the place, and there's barely any,
Disney bought Fox, so... we're going to get another X-Men
MCU,
movie.
Yay.
Anyways.
Eventually, though, because there's a lot of X-Men movies in the works. Deadpool 2 is coming out in a few days. Then X-Force.
I don't know how I
New
feel about
Mutants,
Colossus being in charge of the X-Men.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be better than Mystique, though. It's the main X. Come on. When was she ever in X-Men, really? Definitely not the leader, anyway.
Anyways, back to work. Okay.
Back to the slashers.
Okay. Kevin Bacon, how do you die like that?
That arrow through the neck?
He's got to lay there and feel it pushing up through the bed, poking him in the back, then it's got to dig through his fucking body.
Yeah, but didn't she hold his head? Didn't she grab his head, hold his head and force through it? Maybe not. Yeah, you're right.
Still, but then again, this is a 40-year-old woman. How
good
a grip is she going to have? She's going to have to be pressed up against the bottom of the bed doing this.
Yeah, you're laying there, something comes up through the bed. Okay, just for argument's sake, say you don't feel it coming through the bed. You feel it poking the neck. Obviously, you're going to
I mean, her hand's over his head like this. She's got to be pressed up against the bed. How's she getting her hand up between her and the bed?
Yeah,
shoot the arrow through.
Either way, it doesn't make any sense. Damn it, you just ruined my favorite kill in the entire series. Damn it.
And personally,
still awesome, though.
Personally, I believe that the counselor let him drown. I believe that she drowned him herself because she's fucking nuts.
She drowned her. That's an interesting theory.
And then
heard that before.
Every time they come back, she comes back to kill people because she thinks they're gonna find his body in the lake or whatever.
Yeah, she poisoned the water, and started a fire, and killed some counselors. It's interesting how
I feel though that movie's coming off a bunch of whole other stuff that she did that they didn't even talk about. I feel like this isn't the first time she's done something like this.
Yeah, there's already a rich history. When you get to the first film alone, there's already a huge backstory.
No, I'm saying I don't think this is the first time she's murdered people at the camp.
I know.
She did this this can't be the first time she's done something like that because it's too well planned out.
She killed those 2 people in 1957 at the beginning.
Oh yeah, that too.
But it's interesting because each original movie in the series was the first movie of a person who became really popular. Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th, and Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street. And he had a cameo in Freddy's Dead. Was it Freddy's? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on TV. And he got hit by a frying
pan. I hate that movie.
pan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I hate that movie, but that was pretty cool. And then Jamie Lee Curtis is the only one that came back.
Did Friday 30 come out before or after Footloose?
Before, I think. Wait a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's before. Wasn't Footloose in like 82?
I don't know.
My knowledge of Footloose is not very...
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll talk about...
Like,
I saw The Greatest Thing the other night. They took like clips from like Freddy and Jason movies and dubbed it over with the bad guys from Karate Kid 3. It's just like make him bleed. Like Freddy goes like, "Oh, I like that, Johnny. I'm gonna use that." And it cuts him killing somebody.
Well, Footloose is in '84, so yeah, that was quite a bit after. Yeah, I figured it was his first movie. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Halloween's continuity is a mess. Even Nightmare on Elm Street, because like I don't know, it seems like 1 and 3 are connected. Then 3 and 4 are connected, and 4 and 5 are connected. Freddy's Dead just kind of came out of nowhere. It didn't have anything to do with the other series, the rest of the series, pretty much. And Part 2 wasn't even really that much connected with Part 1, like a whole lot. It kind of did its own thing. It was kind of a totally new...
Plus, you think, like, a guy that's...
I think Friday the 13th is the most
a guy sleepwalking in a nut house, you'd think they'd have things in perimeter to stop him or something.
And what I don't understand is, like, in certain movies, like Freddy's Dead, for example, like, okay, what happens in your dreams happens in the real world, but there's, like, certain people, like, you'll be walking, like, in Freddy's Dead, there's a guy walking up a staircase in his dream, and then he's walking on thin air in real life. What the hell? And the guy jumping around when Freddy was controlling him in a video game. You're supposed to be lying asleep in your bed when Freddy's massing. You're not supposed to be doing exactly what you're doing in the dream.
Yeah, and, like, then that pit opens at the bottom of the stairs, they fall... How did that happen?
Yeah, what the hell? And then Ken Sago's character, Kincaid, returning from Part 3 and Part 4, Freddy stabs him in the dream. Then the real world, he's grabbed his chest. No blood! No wound! What the hell was that? They get, slashed across the face. And the guy's veins in Part 3. I mentioned that in the last video. That didn't happen in real life. Lots of inconsistencies in all the franchises, but I think Friday the 13th has the least.
If I remember correctly, like, Will quotes something when he's, like, zapping Freddy. I don't remember what it's from, though.
In the name of Aloric, Prince of Elves, Demon Be Gone.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, I think.
No. I mean, like, from, like, an actual movie or a book or something. I know what it is, but it hasn't clicked in my head.
Sorry, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales.
I liked him. He's, like, my favorite character.
Yeah, he was cool, yeah.
One thing about the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, like, the supporting cast is usually really good. Not like Halloween or...
Yeah, I think the character's a little more fleshed out in the Freddy movies, usually. They're a little more, like...
I think it's because, like, they're going to die, but they got to fill up the screen time.
Yeah.
So you actually feel bad
They're a little more interesting. They're not just typical, like, victims, just typical fodder just to be killed off. The typical cardboard cutout teens, 30-somethings playing teenagers with victim on their foreheads.
I kind of would have liked to see, like, what the other kids already got murdered, their powers would have been.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
I know, yeah. Because they didn't really come up with that idea until Dream Warriors. Well, the main inconsistencies in the Jason series, and, like, this is actually something the other, like, Freddy usually looks the same. Michael Myers usually looks the same. His build kind of changes, his mask looks a little different. But Jason's look changed a lot. In part 2, he had a full head of hair and a beard. Looked like a kind of typical mountain man. Part 3, clean shaven and completely bald. Then Part 4, and he's taller and more muscular. Then Part 4, he had like pale, like almost gray skin and long nails. And they were supposed to take place within a few days of each other. Part 2, 3, and 4 are like, yeah, they're like, they pick up where the other one left off. And so why have his appearance changed so drastically?
I noticed about like
from
Part
movie to
5,
movie?
like, he kills, like, a bunch of people that weren't even involved in his son getting axed.
He didn't even kill the guy that killed his son. Victor, the guy with the axe.
And you
Mark Venturini, he was also in Return of the Living Dead.
And you'd think, like, one of the actual girls at the house would survive, but no, they all got murdered.
I wanted Violet, played by Tiffany Helm, to survive. She was awesome. She was dancing to His Eyes by Pseudo Echo. It
would have been funny, like, she's dancing, like, something shoots past behind her and kills somebody else.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
She was cooler. She was more interesting than Pam. Pam was boring. Reggie was
Another thing I thought about, from Nightmare on Elm Street, like, Amanda Kruger, like, is in the asylum, she gets locked in raped. I personally believe that they did that on purpose to, like, see what would happen, you know.
Yeah. Oh, they locked her in on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is
another thing was like, why'd she even go down in there to begin with?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a setup.
Yeah.
But something funny is one funny thing is one of the inmates actually played by Robert Englund. So I think that's the guy who's actually Freddy's dad. Obviously, I don't think it's conceivable to be impregnated by multiple men.
I know people like the first Halloween a lot, but to me it feels like really just slow.
Well, it's suspenseful, and it's a very subtle. It's a very subtle movie. It's not all over the place and in your face like fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween, where subtlety is pretty much out the window.
No, by the time it gets to him killing people, like it's like an hour and a half into the movie.
Well, it's kind of a build-up. I think it's supposed to like build up. It's supposed to build up suspense, and like that way, it's all the more effective. Plus, it's old. It's kind of dated.
Another thing is, how does nobody see him? He's standing out in broad daylight.
That's what makes him so scary. You never know where he is. He just kind of comes out of the shadows. He's so mysterious. Like in the original movie, you never knew where he was. And in the remakes and some of the sequels, the camera follows him around everywhere.
I don't know why they decided to take a William Shatner mask and paint it white and do that.
I don't know, but it worked. It looked really creepy. And it was weird as William Shatner was actually in another movie. I can't think of the name right now. I'll think of it as soon as we turn the camera off. But it actually looked like Michael Myers. He had like black eyes and stuff. Can't believe I can't think of the name. But that actually looked like that might be where they got the mask from. Not Captain Kirk.
The only thing I really liked about Halloween was like a fan dub they did when he's going through like the closet. You're like, oh, come on, Laura, I just want to give you these cookies. Then he gets out of front like, Laurie, no!
I'd rather watch that than Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Like,
it's okay.
Is it weird that, like, Tyler Mane hasn't aged in, like, at all since, like, X-Men?
Yeah, when he played Sabretooth in the original X-Men, he looked pretty much the same as he does now. And ditto for the Rob Zombie movies. The thing about Michael Myers is he's supposed to blend in. He's supposed to look normal. He's not Leatherface or Jason, big hulking maniac. He's supposed to look normal. He's tall.
He is now.
But he's supposed to look normal. He could take his mask off and go into a crowd and they would never know it's him. He could blend in. He's normal looking. He's not a big hulking,
I feel like if they actually took his mask off, he'd be going like, my face! Give me back my face!
Like Rorschach.
It's like,
Jackie Earle Haley, he played Freddy.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie, but his performance was okay.
I like how it like, took stuff from the original movie and like redid it.
And some of the sequels too.
Yeah.
Like if there's a few lines that I think he had like they were similar to something he said in the sequels. I only watched that movie once, and that was it. Watched it once at the theater, and that was all. They tried to like repeat scenes from the original, like the long-armed Freddy, the Freddy coming out of the wall, and the body bag, the girl in the dead girl in the body bag talking, but it was all done shoddily with crappy effects. It's pretty sad that they did.
One of the really interesting things that No One Else did, like in 4, is like he's fighting Rick, like he's invisible, and you only see his glove.
Oh yeah.
And like that's kind of is cool. But then like cool she has a dream. She's at his funeral, and he like wakes up and like it starts talking to her. Like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Is he actually doing that? Or is like was Freddy fucking with her?
I think Freddy was fucking with her. I guess she was like falling asleep. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of things that didn't make sense in that series, and the dreams got a little more elaborate, and kind of goofier. Like,
another thing I was wondering, like when they're going to save Debbie, she's a chick, pumping iron. Yeah. It keeps resetting itself, like
when it turns into a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps her. Yeah. They get in the truck. They drive off.
I'm driving.
It cuts back. They drive off. It cuts back. How is that
I'm driving.
possible?
It happens like 5 or 6 times.
I know, right? I thought first time I saw it, I thought the tape was messed up.
Doesn't Freddy disguise himself as a nurse like twice?
Oh yeah.
In that movie, I want to draw some blood, and then well, it ain't Dr. Seuss, or maybe that was a different movie.
I know in part 4.
I get 4 and 5 mixed up.
Part 3, like he was the nurse, and he's like shooting his tongue out.
Oh
and
yeah. What's wrong, Joey? Feeling a little tongue-tied. My mom's the nurse.
My mom's
Freddy had boobs.
My mom's favorite Freddy Krueger movie, like in part 4, is like, wanna suck face?
Oh yeah. That was his movie. He was the star of that movie. Dream Master, that was his movie, man. That was Robert Englund movie.
I think that's the best Freddy Krueger doing Freddy Krueger.
He was the funniest. He was like the funniest to where it wasn't like too over the top. Like in 5 and 6, it was a little... He was too much of a comedian. He wasn't scary anymore. Despite what you think, I really like Jason X. I do too. I just think it's a bad movie. I think
it's
awesome.
Now we need like Freddy X and Leatherface X.
Oh my
Halloween
god,
X.
Michael Myers X
in space.
Oh my god, just send all of them to space. Pinhead went to space. Leprechaun went to space. Put them all in space. Yeah. Damn it! Every series should end with me.
I would love to see Freddy Krueger go to space and do like an alien themed nightmare dream. That's cool. Pretty cool.
Maybe Freddy versus Alien. The Xenomorph has a nightmare, and oh my god, that would be so ridiculous. Freddy cuts him open, but then the acidic blood melts.
If anything, though, like from movie to movie, like His powers kind of change, don't they?
They do.
They either get more powerful or weaker. Or...
Well, I thought that like at the end of like part 4, that's the one where all the souls, where he saw his reflection and all the souls destroyed him. All the souls come out of him and destroyed him. Was part 4, right? I kind of get it mixed up part 5 sometimes. I know which is which, but like a few of the kills and stuff I get mixed up. But then I thought that like in part 5 he'd come back and he wouldn't be as powerful and he'd have to get his power back somehow. But it didn't really happen. Part 5. I love the gothic, really dark tone, but it's almost like, oh, this movie's really creepy. And then Freddy comes out and it's like, oh, there's Freddy. Now it's not scary anymore. It's like, oh, tell a joke or something. It's like, but it's not scary anymore.
What was weird about part 5? Like Dan's death, like he kept like changing every time until he finally actually gets hit by a truck.
Yeah.
The motorcycle scene was actually really cool though.
In part 5. Yeah, where he becomes the motorcycle. That was cool as shit.
That movie, like,
New Nightmare had
honestly, like, that movie was kind of weird. It didn't really explain a whole lot, and it didn't make any sense.
The guy, the kid, her unborn son, that was the kid from Jurassic Park.
Really?
Yeah, I forget that guy's name. Then Miko Hughes was in, from Pet Sematary, was in New Nightmare.
He was?
God, he was annoying, yeah. Oh my god, he was so annoying.
He was that kid in that movie?
I can't stand when there's a horror movie and the kid knows more than the adults, especially when they're psychic. Oh god, if there's a psychic kid in a horror movie...
He was also in, like,
what
Bruce Willis movie was he in where he was, like, screaming all the time because he was autistic?
Oh, yeah. I think, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways. Yeah. This is one of those things where, like, you bring in somebody from a different horror movie, like, it kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting something else.
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like they can't cross over like Jason and Mike Myers and Leatherface because like none of them talk. So like, where are we going to get out of that? You're going to have.
Well, if they did Jason versus Leatherface, they would have to have other characters from the series like Tommy Jarvis or Dr. Loomis or somebody returning to explain.
They did the comic where like they're best friends. Then, if I remember correctly, like they went on to kill somebody and like then they started fighting for some stupid reason.
Well, Jason versus Leatherface was a comic and that was awesome. It was done really well because it had Leatherface's original family. It had the cook, Drayton, and it had the hitchhiker and Grandpa. It had the original family.
I did like in Mortal Kombat X, it's Leatherface in the original movie. So, like he kills the special forces, like cuts off Cassidy's, like he's gonna cut her up for Drayton to use in his chili.
Yeah, they actually made a reference. They were very respectful to the source material.
What I said last time was like they're all in Dead by Daylight. They're not. Jason isn't in it.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his own game though. I love about that. I saw the video.
Leatherface, when he was unmasked, looked like the version from the remake, though. It wasn't good.
What'd be funny is like if he ever takes his mask off, he looks like if he looked like Jason from like Part 2.
Yeah.
That's what I expect. Anyway, like I said,
he probably would look something.
Friday the 13th, the game, the best thing I ever saw. Like you can summon Tommy Jarvis. They did that like right as the cutscene finishes, where he shows up. The killer just runs up and like jams the machete to the back of his head and kills him.
This is the Tom Matthews version too.
I know, right?
He's my favorite. He's my favorite Tommy. I like Corey Feldman and John Shepard too.
I feel like Part 6 will make sense if you realize that like, it takes place right after Part 5.
I think it kind of ignores Part 5, but then again, well, my theory again,
because it would make sense like he had the dream they're digging him up, then he goes and digs him up, and he gets.
Well, at the end, it looked like he was about to kill Pam. He was wearing the mask, and then he's sneaking up on her. I think he had a knife too.
He actually wrote a book like. Or something following this to explain it, where like she rehabilitates him.
That'd be interesting to see something set in between 5 and 6. But I think my theory again is Jason possessed Roy, and then when they destroyed Roy, he possessed Tommy. That's why he's wearing the mask. That's why I saw Jason in his room. It was like Jason's spirit. Then he disappeared. Then he's about to kill Pam. Then the beginning of Part 6, he would destroy Jason's body, thinking that would rid the
Another interesting thing I noticed,
hallucinations of possession.
Like some of the characters from like the Jason and Freddy movies, like that black kid from like Jason Takes Manhattan. They took them and made
Julian gets his head punched off.
They made them characters like Until Dawn.
Oh, really?
One of the characters, Matt, is like just exactly like him, same like tracksuit and everything. It was cool.
He got his block knocked off, just like in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Why didn't he just like climb down? Like it's not like Jason's like an Olympic sprinter.
He was punching him right in the mask. Like I mean, for one thing, you're not going to hurt Jason that way anyway. But for another thing, why punch somebody in the mask? Of course, it's not going to. Not that he could do anything anyway.
Like I just kind of wonder like how nobody can outrun him anyways. Like
yeah,
it's like
Jason walks. He walks kind of slow.
Like the game
explains
catches you. The game explains like he can like teleport. Which is
in Part 8, it really looked like he could teleport. Like when he's chasing the guy, and then like the guy runs into a building, and Jason throws him out the window. It's like, how did he get there so fast? I think he's just really fast.
Okay, so
but it shows it off screen.
Okay, so the boat is at Crystal Lake, right?
Yeah. which changes sizes.
That's a lake.
Yeah.
How did they get?
How'd they go to the ocean?
How'd they get to New York?
I know.
Plus, like, he
I
kills
think it's
most
supposed
of
to
the
take
people on
place
the
in
boat.
New Jersey
So, like,
too, which is
honestly,
again,
like,
is debatable.
He kills most of the people on the boat. So, like, who's really left when they actually make it to Manhattan?
Yeah.
Next to nobody. Like that one.
I do wish more scenes would take place in Manhattan, but I still love Part 8. It's underrated.
I wish that chick, like the guitar, like would have survived. Like she was cool.
Yeah, she died way too early on.
And like the Whippers are like
she died way too soon.
We kept seeing her just running, as showing it from Jason's point of view, and he's chasing through which is weird. Yeah, when you actually really like stop and like look back at these movies, they don't make any sense at all.
Yeah, especially like from movie to movie. Especially it's a big franchise. There's always going to be continuity errors here and there.
Like yeah, I think we covered everything pretty good.
Just about.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about Michael Myers quite as much as the others.
I think we covered enough of him like last time.
Yeah.
Because really, there's not that.
Got it covered.
In the long run, there's not that much to actually talk about. That's actually interesting. Well, actually, one thing I did want to notice though is like the first movie feels like he kind of snapped.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like later on, it's like he was always evil. But like it looked like he had a pretty normal. His parents were normal. His sister was normal.
Yeah, he was normal
seriously.
up to when he turned 6, I guess, or when on that Halloween night where he stabbed his sister. We could assume, but we don't know. They don't really talk much about.
Maybe he was possessed by Jason.
Yeah. Well, that was in, let's see. That would have been in 72. Because if he was sick. Wait, no.
You okay?
That would have been in 56 or 57.
I don't know. Why do I smell copper?
That would have been 57. That would have been 57. 1957 was when he killed his sister. Because he was 21 in 1978. So if he was 6.
Wait, did he kill his sister because she had sex or because he saw her naked?
I don't know. Wait, no. I'm wrong. Ah, shit.
Maybe it's best you don't think about it.
Yeah.
You're going to give yourself an aneurysm.
I can't think right now. Okay, anyway, that would have been... My point was, that would probably have been before Jason was resurrected.
Anyway.
Yes, he was resurrected, not hiding in the woods for 40 years, 30 years, whatever.
No. Okay, I think we covered everything. Because I'm starting to hear a lot of footsteps outside, so we better get out of here.
Yeah, they're coming for us. Hey guys, I'm Hellhound.
I'm Spellbinder.
Thank you for watching Dead Level Discussions.
And this is our last episode. We hate all of you.